To live is to suffer. Not in a dramatic way, not in a hopeless way, but in a real way. Every life eventually runs into something difficult. Loss, uncertainty, moments where nothing feels clear, and most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid those moments, trying to escape them, trying to outrun them. But survival was never about escaping suffering. Survival is about discovering meaning inside of it, because if life has any purpose at all, then suffering must have one too. And so must dying. No one can hand that meaning to you. No teacher can give it to you. No book can decide it for you. That responsibility belongs to you. You must decide what your pain means. You must decide what your struggle creates. And once that meaning becomes clear, something inside you shifts. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you begin asking, what is this shaping me into? There are people who grow in comfort, but the strongest people grow in resistance, in uncertainty, in moments when nothing feels guaranteed, because the person who knows why they live can endure almost anyhow. And when everything else is stripped away, one freedom always remains, the freedom to choose your attitude, and that choice is where everything begins. You'd be surprised what a human being can get used to. People say that all the time, that a person can adapt to anything, and in many ways, that's true. We adjust. We normalize things that once shocked us. Pain that once felt unbearable slowly becomes familiar. A difficult life can start to feel ordinary, but adaptation is not the same as understanding. Yes, a person can get used to almost anything, but that doesn't explain why they endure it. Because beneath survival, there is something deeper, something quietly guiding every decision we make. It isn't comfort, it isn't pleasure, and it isn't instinct, it is meaning. The search for meaning is the strongest force in a human life. And here is the part most people overlook. Meaning is personal. It cannot be copied, it cannot be borrowed, it cannot be inherited. It must be discovered and fulfilled by you alone. Only then does it become powerful enough to satisfy the deepest part of who you are. And once you feel that clarity, life stops feeling random. It begins to feel directed, and clarity changes everything. But here is the strange reality of the modern world. Human beings have lost many of the things that once guided them. Long ago, instinct directed behavior. Animals never question their purpose. They simply act. Later, traditions guided human life. Culture told people what they ought to do. But today, both of those systems are fading. Instinct no longer directs us. Tradition no longer anchors us. And many people now stand in a strange place. Free, but uncertain. Free to choose anything, yet unsure what they truly want. So they begin to look sideways. They copy what everyone else is doing. They follow trends. They follow expectations. Sometimes they do what other people are doing. Sometimes they do what other people expect of them. And they call that living. But when a person has no inner direction, life begins to feel empty, not painful, just hollow. And that quiet emptiness often shows up as boredom, a restless feeling, a sense that something important is missing. When that emptiness grows too strong, it begins to express itself in other ways. Depression, aggression, addiction. Because when meaning disappears, the mind starts looking for substitutes. Power, control, money, anything that creates the illusion of significance. But substitutes can never replace purpose, and that is why so many people feel lost. Sometimes people try to fill that emptiness with pleasure, distraction, stimulation, anything that keeps them from facing the deeper question. For a moment it works. Pleasure can silence the emptiness temporarily, but pleasure was never meant to carry the weight of existence. It was meant to accompany meaning, not replace it. And when pleasure becomes the substitute for purpose, desire becomes louder, not because it is powerful, but because something deeper is starving. Many people believe life has one universal meaning, one answer for everyone, but that has never been true. Meaning changes from person to person, from season to season, from moment to moment. The real question is not, what is the meaning of life? The real question is, what is the meaning of my life in this moment? Asking for the meaning of life in general is like asking a chess master, what is the best move in chess? There is no single best move. The right move depends on the position of the board and the position of the moment. Meaning works the same way. Life is not asking you to discover an abstract purpose. Life is asking you to respond to the situation in front of you. And that realization changes everything. because suddenly the question reverses. Instead of asking, "What do I expect from life?" you begin asking, "What does life expect from me?" Every moment becomes a challenge, every situation becomes a question, and you answer that question through the way you live, not with words, but with responsibility. Being human has never meant focusing only on yourself. Human life always points outward, toward something beyond you, a mission, a cause, another person. The more a person forgets themselves in service of something meaningful, the more alive they become. Self-actualization is not something you chase directly. It appears naturally when you give yourself to something greater. Meaning can appear in three simple ways: through what you create, through what you experience, and through the attitude you take towards suffering. The second path to meaning is through experience, through encountering something beautiful, nature, truth, art, moments that remind you life is larger than your problems. But the deepest experience of all is encountering another human being. To truly see someone, to truly understand them, to recognize the uniqueness of their soul. Love allows us to grasp another person at the deepest level of their being. And through love, we discover parts of ourselves that were hidden. The more you give yourself to a cause or to another person, the more human you become. Because fulfillment is not found by turning inward endlessly, it is found by transcending yourself. There will be moments in life you cannot change. Moments where the situation stays exactly the same. Moments that feel unfair, hopeless, final. And yet, even there, meaning still exists. Because what matters most is not what happens to you, it is how you respond. When a human being transforms tragedy into courage, something extraordinary happens. Pain becomes purpose. Suffering stops being meaningless the moment it finds a reason. Human beings do not live simply to avoid pain. They live to discover meaning. And the person who knows their why can endure almost any how. There will be seasons when work disappears, seasons when joy disappears, seasons when life feels silent, but meaning can remain until the very end. Because meaning is not conditional. It does not disappear when comfort disappears. It does not vanish when circumstances grow difficult. It waits to be discovered through the way you live, through the way you endure, through the way you love. That is the essence of being human. Live enlightened.